A while ago, I was given a couple of electric motors that weren't working, and the person was just going to toss them. And I asked if it was okay if I could have them. He assured me that they did not work, and I told him that's what I was counting on, that they wouldn't work, that they were complete scrap, so that I could get the copper and aluminum out of these things. All right, this is going to be my first recorded stab at taking apart an electric motor. Now, there's lots of different channels out there who've had videos of these things being tore down. And so I'm not doing anything new here. I'm just hoping that I can remember all of this as well as I think I can, so that I don't embarrass myself too much in this video. Now, when it comes to what's usable here, this outer shell is not. That's magnetic. That sticks pretty good. However, the ends are aluminum, and inside will be a ton of copper. So let's get to tearing this down. All right, the first thing that I think I may have forgotten that I need to do, I'm probably going to need to cut this off because I don't think this comes apart on its own. I think the casing has to be removed. So I think I got to get my angle grinder out and cut this thing apart. So let me get all that going here. I was just thinking that that centerpiece probably needs to be knocked out. I'll probably do that when I smash this up before I get ready to melt it. So that'll just go there. All right, so got the casing off, and now the next part is getting all that copper out of there. And I'll get back to the angle grinder, but I think I'm going to need to change my cutting disc, because this one's getting a little on the small side and it's just barely going to reach. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll cut these two rings off, and then go about getting the stuff that's in between here. In case anyone is curious, I have used these cutting wheels down to even more than that. Not that it matters, but just thought I'd mention that. I think before I go ahead and start cutting that copper, those copper rings. I think I want to get rid of these wires. At least get them kind of out of the way. See if my cutters here will make it through. Oh yeah. And that copper wire will go in my big copper wire box. One of these days I'm gonna get a decent wire stripper and take care of all of that. But that day's not today. All right, well, first of all, I'm going to say that's going to take more effort than I expected it to. And I probably may not want to be nearly so close to the housing here, but there is no reason for me to film me cutting all of that. You've seen what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to turn the camera off, cut the rest of that, and come back on when it's done. Well, there's the first half done, and you can clearly see I didn't do a great job of getting that even all the way around on my cut, but that's okay. And the other thing I noticed, I've got copper dust all over the place. I'll probably sweep this up because I don't want to be, who knows, this could be the difference between a completed bronze sword and being short just by a few ounces. Anyway, I'm gonna clean some of this up, and then I'll take care of this other half. Well, I don't know. Is it worth it? There's also a ton of this on the floor. I'm halfway tempted to just dump this in my PC board stuff, but that feels like that would be cheating. So let's see, maybe I have a container around here somewhere that I can put this in, but I don't know, maybe it's worth it. All right, let's get on to the second half. Well, I don't know how often other channels that do stuff, whether they do it a time or two before they do one for the film, because that second one came off a heck of a lot easier, quicker. I think I did a much better job of an even cut on that second time. I should have probably done this first motor completely off screen, and then just had done the second one for the camera. And this, not only do I have a bit more of the shavings here, but there's a bunch of wires in there, so I'm definitely gonna sweep this up. Might as well did it the first time, why not continue it the second time? I got a long way to go to fill up this bin. I probably won't. I've got a video that I want to do. It's just titled Nothing But Copper. And so whatever I have here, I'll just dump all of that in there as well. Yeah, some of that dust. Oh my goodness. All right. Anyway, now the next step is to get this stuff out of that channel that runs between this piece of metal here. Oh, very magnetic. I expected it to be, because I've never seen anybody save this part. And the technique I think I've most commonly seen, because I'm bumping everything with my face guard, is to take a hammer and a screwdriver or something, and then just drive that all the way through. I tried that here, and all I did was, I think, just push the wire in. So anyway, let me give this a quick try, a quick shot, and see what it looks like. If this doesn't start coming out right away as neat and nifty as I often see it on the YouTubes, then I'll do something different, or at least think about doing something different, because I'm kind of concerned I'm just going to get my screwdriver stuck in there. Oh, huh. That's interesting. That moved. They won't come out of that groove, will they? That would be easy. Nope, I don't think so. I've seen other channels where whatever this housing, plastic or whatever this is, this part right here, oftentimes comes right out with everything else. And then I've seen where they've actually had to remove the wire from this stuff, whatever it is. And I've also seen it where they've done it, put it in a vise. My vise is actually at my father-in-law's house. I had a notion of what I'm doing here in the shed. I was actually going to do it at his house. Oh, hey! Woohoo! All right, this might take a while. The next time you see me on this video, because I'm not going to film this whole entire struggle. I get doing certain things for other people's entertainment, but you know, I have my limits of self-humiliation and processes like this. So who knows? Maybe I'll try a couple of different things, keep going around with this, do some things, and then if I find something that works consistently, I'll come back. Well, here's a different technique, and this housing is layered, and I noticed that there was a gap in one of the layers, although I'm not seeing another gap. So while I'm going to end up probably finishing this through, I'm not sure that's going to be the best way to do this, but as you can see, I then took my screwdriver, pounded it in, and then just started working. I think, though, I didn't do myself any favors, because as I cut through, of course, I flattened some of the copper over the top layer. Who knows, maybe after I get this first one done, the rest will come fairly easy. And then, of course, I'm always wondering, so am I wrecking one of my better big screwdrivers here? But I suppose that could be just replaced. And this seems to be working at least a couple of, or a little bit. Maybe if I can get this off, then I can go back around to pounding on these things through. It would be a little bit of friction. I think this is going to be a tremendous job, a much bigger job than I think I've seen on other channels. I'll have to go back and look at motor teardowns. I don't remember it being quite like this. It makes me wonder, maybe there was through the magic of television sort of thing going on. All right, I probably if I come up with something new, I'll be back. Otherwise, you may just get to the end where you see a pile of copper. All right, after you get this started, it actually picks up. And so that's why I decided to kind of film this. This might very well be the technique I want to use, rather than trying to find a way to pound those things through. Yeah, once it gets started, in the last couple of rounds came off pretty good. I know I promised when I was going to turn it on I was going to have a pile of copper, but I was starting to have some success, and I definitely wanted to capture that. The thing that I'm concerned about, though, is what I'm going to do when I get towards the bottom here and I don't have the leverage of the body of this housing to do the prying. But at that point, these things might just pull straight out when there isn't so much housing in the way. All right, I don't know if the last comment that I made actually made it on that last clip, because just as I was making that comment, my battery died, and so I've swapped out batteries. But the last couple of rings that I did actually came out fairly flat, and so then I just tried to see if I can pull this wire out, and sure enough, it's starting to come out, and I'm going to now see if I can do this on camera, and if it's going to come out nearly as well as you can see the two pieces right there. And of course, now that I'm doing it on camera, it's not going to come out quite so nice. Bummer, because I thought I actually had it figured out here, how I could go from here and oh well, there's a couple, but I was able to. This whole chunk came out of these other two. All right, back to the drawing board, but I'm gonna play with that. It happened twice. First two times were a charm, I guess, and I'll see if I can continue working that. Otherwise, I'll just cut a couple more rings off and bust them off and go from there. All right, slightly new discovery, completely by accident, and I don't know why I didn't think about this. One of the things I was concerned about is whether or not you can see where it got marred and squished and pushed, and yet I keep trying to pull it from this end. However, if I just do some of this, look what's happening. And I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner. My guess is this might be the technique other channels have used, and I just wasn't paying enough attention. It's making a mess though with all this insulated stuff. I'm guessing that's meant to be insulative. You know, I'm going to put those gloves back on because I bet you some of that copper is sharp. Now, let's see how easy some of this comes out. Well, not as easy as I'd hoped. Ah, that's unfortunate. I thought this was just going to pull straight out. Oh, some of it is. There we go. That one did. That one sort of did. Even if I'm only getting it in chunks. Well, and then, of course, I need to be careful about when I'm pounding on the other side, because I don't want to mushroom that end either. I think I just dropped some on the floor. That's good. All this work to get this copper, and I start throwing it away. Oh yeah, I mushroomed that a whole bunch. Yikes. Yikes. A couple of these are going to be nigh impossible to get out. Thinking I may need to find a way to get my vise over here from my father-in-law's. This process might be a little bit easier that way. There's that some of that mushrooming from the initial cut that I was talking about. All right. I'm going to keep going. You get the picture. No need to use a bunch of video for this. All right, that was the last one. I'm happy to report that I did not have to destroy the village in order to save it. The other thing that I'm happy with is that I put this piece of scrap wood over the top of my bench, my Harbor Freight workbench. Otherwise, I would have been tearing all of that up. All right, I'm going to go back into the house here real quick, grab my scale. And the reason I don't have my scale out here with me is wifey has, the last time I grabbed my scale, she goes, "What are you doing with my scale?" So I'm going to grab that, weigh all this up, and find out just how much copper and how much aluminum I have. Whew, what'll work. All right, job's done. That's my best magnification, so I can't tell if whether or not the scale showing up well or not. There is a bit of glare. It's hard to read. I'll just read the number off. Let's see if I do it that way. I still don't know if the camera's picking it up, but we'll go from there. All right, so here I am with the aluminum, and that's 0.844 pounds of aluminum. Now I did take the chunk that was in there, although there's a little bit of whatever that insulation stuff that was in there, which I'm going to keep this. This is what I had left from that housing that had all the copper in it, and that was fantastic for setting this guy over the top and then just pounding those inserts out. All right, so what do we got for copper? Okay, this is going to take a bit because of course I didn't consolidate it. This won't be the total true weight because, as you can see, there's a lot of insulation on some of this, and there's some that I didn't clean off yet. I can take that one out because it fell apart. But it's been a long evening. This has been a long process. And I'll clean this stuff up a little bit later. There's got to be a better way. I need to refine this whole process. Goodness sakes. I think I would have had this all piled up and ready to go. And I'm making a mess out of everything. I imagine if any of my students are watching, they're probably going, "Oh my goodness, Mr. Freeman, sometimes you are so funny." And this would be one of those times. I've heard that term a bunch lately. Just how funny I often am. All right, so almost up to 2 pounds. Still going. Still going. Oh my goodness, this is out of control. I should have just put this in a container, teared it out. I just don't happen to have any empty containers right handy. So the question is, after all this is said and done, because this isn't even enough to make a full ingot, because that should hold about 3 to, no, should be about 4.5 pounds. And what I'm reading here is just under 2.5 pounds. 2.44 pounds. So the question, was it worth it? Well, it's free. All it did was take some time and labor, and I got a video out of it. All right, just like with everything else, if you found this even remotely entertaining, I doubt if whether or not anybody learned anything, but if you found it entertaining, please like and subscribe. I appreciate that a whole bunch, and thanks a whole bunch for supporting the channel. And as always, blessings, everyone.